so excited to be back with a new episode. Beautifully made. And this month is December, and my exhibiting artist at the studio is Miss Deborah Markle. So, Deb, thank you for joining me today on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. I am really excited for everyone to see your work in person. So, on the visual portion, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see some imagery of Deb's work in a slideshow. And I would love for you, Deb, to introduce yourself and just give us some basic information about you.
All righty. My name is Deborah Markle, but I prefer Deb or Debbie, nothing so formal. I'm a contemporary abstract artist and I paint with acrylics. It's a hobby, not a business. And I call it lovingly wall jewelry.
Yes, so that is something that if you do find the links in the show notes, that I will link Deb's Instagram account so everyone can see that and follow her on there. And how long have you been an artist? I know you said this is not a business, it's truly really from your heart and a hobby, but you do have an art degree, is that right?
I do. And I started loving art as early as kindergarten. I always took art in middle school, high school, and then went on to major in art at college. I took every class that was related to art except painting because an empty canvas terrified me. And my dad would always ask me to paint him a picture, and I'd tell him, no, that's not my thing, Dad. And when he passed in 2018, I started painting. So better late than never.
That's right. Oh my goodness. Wow. So I love the direction that your pieces take. They're such a dynamic use of color and movement. And I would love to know when you started to dive into painting, since it wasn't really like your forte from the beginning in college, what made you pick acrylics?
Well, I knew that oil took longer to dry.
Yep.
It was more for a really good technician. And since I was clueless, I thought, let's start with the basics. Let's go easy. And it stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. I love your use of metallics in a lot of your pieces, if not all.
Thank you. It is in most of them.
Mhm.
Actually, when I was in college, my major was in photography. So that was
Oh,
my medium at the time. And I
oh,
had this eye for composition that was unusual. And my photos weren't really anything but repetition, color, and composition. People would say, "What exactly is that a picture of?" But anyway, my painting currently is about color composition and sometimes repetition. So I really didn't stray far from my early art form.
I love how you've taken that and put it into paint. That's wonderful. That's such a signature look. And I don't know that I've ever seen any of your photography, so we may have to like get together and see some of that if you still have any. I would love to explore that too. That's
Oh, that was a
wonderful.
long time ago. Yeah, that ended decades ago. There's not much of that left.
Well, so how do you find your inspiration for your pieces now?
Okay, well, I look for strange or weird color schemes anywhere in nature, magazines, grocery stores,
Yeah.
wherever. Sometimes just tubs of paint in my store laying around, or color chips from a paint store. My
Mm,
husband Dave, he built frames. I stretch my own canvases. Those are the big ones, not the little ones.
okay.
Yeah, and I pick my colors. I start squeezing them on the canvas, and then it's up to the powers that be, and they make my arms start to produce what that painting will be. It really takes on a life of its own. I'm not trying to sound mystical or spiritual or anything, but I really have a plan when I start. And if there is one, it changes somewhat as I go. As I said, it paints itself. And I've
Yeah.
tried to reproduce a painting, but I can't. It's like a one-time deal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard. It's hard. We're not manufacturers. As an artist, I
No,
feel
no,
like it's really difficult to do something, multiple times. So
right.
yeah. So what's been your biggest challenge as an artist?
Getting my art out there to be seen has been a real challenge. Luckily, I belong to Canton Artists League, and they have helped us to find shows to apply for because some of them are juried. Um, my other challenges are if I hit a dry spell, trying to work through that, like writer's block.
Yeah.
But they don't usually last too long. So, like, I came home from my reception the other day and I
Mhm.
started another paint, finished it this morning.
Oh, wow, that's fast. That's incredible. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
it is. It is new on Instagram. So if you go to my page, it's the latest one on the feed.
Oh, I'm so glad that you've posted something new. So that's wonderful. And I know that this is
Mhm.
your first solo show, and it
It
is
is.
phenomenal. It is beautiful. It fills the wall top to bottom and then some. And then there are some beautiful smaller canvases that are available for sale, in conjunction with the larger pieces that are for sale. Are there any other places that you offer your work? Is it available anywhere else?
Well, I show it on Instagram,
Hmm.
really with prices or anything, just so people can see it. And then if I'm lucky enough to get into a show, and I'm chosen to be in one, that's a good way, to be seen. And also at Brutifully,
Uh-huh.
the only limit I had was how many I could squeeze into that space, and that is such a blessing. I'm so grateful for that. Now there will
Oh,
be another opportunity that I have similar to this one in May of 25, and it's at the Awe Gallery in Louisville.
no.
Um, May 2025. I'll be the featured artist that month.
Oh,
I
Deb, I
also
love that.
I'm so excited about that one. But I also have some canvases on display at Harrison Paint on Whipple because I
Yeah.
used to work there. And those people knew that I painted and they always let me bring canvases in there. So there's some there currently.
I didn't know that. That's wonderful to hear that. I will make sure I put the instructions for or the directions for both of those locations in the show notes to help promote where those are. Oh my goodness, I had no idea. And congrats on the solo show in May in Louisville. Oh my goodness, what another great little community to visit and are really doing a lot of things for art. So I love hearing that.
Yeah.
Gosh, is there anything else you want to talk about your inspiration or with your art or the direction, like why you chose abstract art?
Well, that's a good question, actually. It worked out that way because of the color and the composition and whatnot. But as far as trying to be photorealistic and being what they call a good artist, I did all of that. I mean, I used to draw voraciously and I took art lessons. And then in college, I took everything in sculpture and I did it all. But there's just something about abstract that's very freeing and you
Hmm.
can just go crazy and have color and I go for the
Yeah, yeah. And you can tell that because the size and the glimmer of the metallic and the color compositions that you've put together, it is a wow factor. You can absolutely feel that. And there's such a connection with your pieces. I know my husband was pulling some of the canvases out of the containers and really connecting with those. And that's what I love seeing people in the community, you know, touching the art and seeing it and like connecting with it, and it's just wonderful.
thank you. The smaller pieces is actually how I got started. And
Oh,
I wanted to make pieces,
yeah.
a major pop of color to put in a foyer or, in an office or a loft or something like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
And that's the direction it went.
Yeah, no, great direction. I love knowing that. So, is there a best way someone should contact you if they're interested in a piece, if they're not local, or if they hear the podcast and explore your Instagram? Is there a method that's best? Do you have a website or anything?
Oh, okay. Well, Instagram's always a possibility. And I do have my little cards that I give out. They have my cell phone number on them. And I can
Okay.
probably be reached through a gallery that displays my work too. But I don't mind if people call my cell phone. My cards are on all over your walls. So That's a good one.
That's good. I didn't know if you had a website that I didn't realize.
No,
Okay, I
I
just
do
wanted to make
not.
sure. Okay.
That's for
Okay.
businesses, not for hobbies.
I understand. And we'll leave the phone number local.
Yeah,
I'll make sure that that stays with the card, but they can definitely send you a message on Instagram if they're interested.
sure. Sure
Yeah.
can.
Oh gosh. No, it's a beautiful show, Deb. You have so much to be
Thanks.
proud of. I love how it looks on the wall and it just stops people in their tracks when they're coming in. So congratulations on being brave and contacting me through your friend who let you know that I had the space available and you were, I mean, right over at the studio, what, the week I opened, I think.
Um, I don't remember when I came, but I know that Tom's work was on the wall at the
Yep.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I was Johnny on the spot because I thought, oh, if I get in there early enough, maybe she'll have room for me in the next 3 years.
Uh, I'm glad you got in this year because yes, it is filling up. I've got a couple artists that wrote this morning and want to exhibit photography and sculpture, and that's going to put me going into September. My mind is blown. So
Fantastic.
yeah. But thank you again for exhibiting and for joining me on the podcast. I'm anxious for everyone to see all your pieces in the slideshow and your work is available until the end of December. Again, all the artists, they receive 100%. I take no commission. It is all going back to the artist because I really want to offer different ways people can, make a living off of their art. And I feel like that is just a calling that I have with this space, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm still going to try to talk you into teaching a class.
You know what? That's funny. My daughter and my husband are both hammering on me and saying, you could just teach some little class. I'm not a teacher. And then a coworker of my daughter said, I saw your mom's stuff on Instagram. It's beautiful. Is she ever going to teach a class? So, yeah, I probably will.
I'm glad. Well, everyone stay tuned. We will definitely post that event and you can attend. And yeah, I think if you're just up there painting and letting people follow you along, just look at it that way. We're just being inspired by you. And I just, getting to be in your presence while you do it, that's more than half the battle. So hang in there. I think you should do it.
Okay, well, we'll give it some thought.
Thanks, Deb, for being on the show. And I can't wait for everyone to come into the studio and see your piece. So thank you again for being the exhibiting artist for December.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye bye.
Bye bye.